Hi. Do you ever find yourself in a situation where you don't know something, where you don't know what to do, where you don't know your next step, where you don't know what is the right thing to do, where you don't know if you should go or stay, say no or yes? There's this middle ground where you just don't know. And I don't know if it's our culture here, but there seems to be a fear of not knowing or a shame of not knowing, as if it's not okay to not know. And I want to share a little bit about how I experience not knowing. First of all, if you are at a place where you want to enter the mystery, really finding the connection to the divine in and as the mystery, we do have to let go of knowing, really of knowing anything. You have to just let it go and be empty, so that whatever you want to know can come to you. But in order to get there, you first have to get comfortable with not knowing and realize that not knowing is not wrong or bad or something you need to get rid of or pretend that you know when you don't. How do you feel about not knowing something? Can you hang with that? Maybe it depends on the situation. Fair enough. Maybe sometimes it's okay to not know, and other times it's definitely not okay to not know, especially if there is some kind of a pressure or urgency where you need to know something, right? Then you might be in this in between place between yes and no. It's like, I just don't know. And I usually say, I don't know yet, because the knowing will always come in one form or another. But if you are in this place where you don't know and you have to decide by in an hour, 24 hours, whatever, a deadline, what do you do? What do you do? Do you just jump and say yes or no, even though it's not your truth yet? I think we all have done that. Sometimes in order to not lose face, to not disappoint others, we just go along, even though inside there's like, I don't know if this is true for me. I don't know if this is right. I don't know if I want to say yes to that commitment. I don't know if it's too soon to say no, because there's something inside of you that does not know. So, my invitation is to be really curious about the experience of not knowing something. Don't dismiss it. Don't try and get ahead of it. Don't try and push yourself to know. But take a moment and let yourself not know. What is the actual experience of not knowing when you take it in its purity? You're not trying to put things on it. You're just leaving that experience where you say, I don't know. I just don't know. And what if that's okay? If you can find an okayness about it, and then an additional curiosity, what is your experience when you say, I don't know? Just breathe into that experience. Might be a feeling, sensation, and you may not be able to go to the purity of it because there's this like, I have to know, I have to know. And it might be hard to get behind that if there is that urgency. So just do your best It can be done even when there's an urgency. You actually can take a moment and say, I don't know the answer. I don't know what's right or true right now. I really don't know. What if you just own that? You can even say, just now, I don't know. Sincerely, I just don't know. And then feel what it's like to not know. It may sound like a little silly thing we're doing here, but I know that not knowing is a big issue for many people. There's a lot of conditioning around it that it's not okay to not know. But if your experience is that you don't know, what's wrong with that? Why is that not okay? What if there simply is this space between knowing and not knowing, or saying yes and saying no, I should say, where there is this place where you don't know until you suddenly know, just like day follows night and night follows day. Knowing follows not knowing, and not knowing follows knowing. There's just a natural flow or rhythm in that. And when you learn to really feel okay about not knowing as a felt sense, as a real experience inside of you, not up here. Most of the things I talk about, it's not happening in the mind, it's happening as a felt sense experience in your body. So just like, oh, I don't know. And when you feel okay about not knowing, then you can tell the people that want to know, you can say, at this moment, I don't have the clarity to say yes or no. And I want to honor myself and wait till I really know if it's right for me or not. So I'm sorry I can't commit right now. They may have some kind of a reaction to it, and maybe they think it's great. It's like, that's great. Follow your truth and let me know when you do know. Or they might get upset and say, well, sorry, you missed the boat. Both are possible. I think the most important part is that you honor yourself so that when the yes comes, it comes as, or no, I mean, it can be either way, but one of the two come, then there's a clarity in that. It's like, no, this is absolutely not right for me. I'm so glad I waited. Or you can say, yeah, this is exactly what I want. And now I'm going to go ahead and pursue it or move that direction. Please do not ignore that space, that time, that experience when you don't know. Even if you have to make a decision in an hour, do not ignore that part of you that needs more time. When you honor that, you bring a new energy to it. You don't bring that urgency or panic or fear and tension to it. You bring an okayness to be who you are in that moment. And that is, I don't know yet. I don't know right now. And then see what happens. I think that really learning our own body language, and it really comes down to yes, no, and I don't know, because that's where we move from, right? When we get to know that language, we are stepping into that flow inside, our true divine flow, that knows exactly where to go, where not to go. But it's up to me, it's up to you, all of us, to learn that language so we can surf that wave. And then it says left, and then it says right, and then it goes like, not much happening. Da 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 da. And it's like, oh, no, we're going to go here, we go a little faster. Oh, now we got to stop and wait. Your flow always knows, always, because it's divine intelligence, it's divine expression. And how can the divine not know itself? That's something that we have to take responsibility for as a human, that we think we don't know. But it's because we're not connected to that flow, to that divine flow. And there really are times where it's just like, okay, we pause here, we stop here, and we wait. You're still in your flow. You're still in your flow. Maybe water threading. You're still in your flow. You know you're aligned. You've got the alignment. And you just wait. It's not always easy because we're not used to that in our society. We're almost forced, right, to not honor that flow. But the flow is always there, and it's never too late to take that flow seriously and get to know it intimately. So you can get on board, you can get on that divine flow wave and see what happens. It takes a lot of trust. And it also takes that you may be done with living in that fearful mind that always thinks it needs to know everything and needs to control everything. Maybe you've had enough of that. And then you might start being curious about, well, what is it like to not be in control, to not know everything all the time? What would that be like? Let's find out by just pausing and just take some time and experience the experience of not knowing.